Welcome to the Wed Pro podcast, the podcast for Wed Pros no matter their stage. We are your hosts, Katie and Roxy, and this is the Wed Pro podcast.
Okay, let's be honest. How many of you feel that if you took a week off in your business, that things would just completely fall apart?
Or maybe even a day, like you finally get a day off, you're halfway through your lovely favourite, latte, and you're checking your DMs before the foam is even settled, or looking in your emails.
I know, and that's the thing, right? And actually, I fit into this all the time because I love what I do. Sometimes it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
But what we see really is most wedding pros aren't bad at what they do. In fact, they're really brilliant. They're amazing. You love your couples, you're creative, you care, but your business has become this never-ending to-do list that you feel like you can't escape from or can't ever take a day off from.
Yeah, and that is exactly what we are tackling today. How to build a business that doesn't rely on you for absolutely everything. Because if your business only works when you do, I hate to say it, but it's not a business. It's a burnout waiting to happen. And I know there's a lot of you listening to this nodding along.
We have been there. There's no kind of shame in this. And really, this is like you're at a stage where you're so busy doing that you can't even think about or pause on how to kind of make things better. And this is what we really want to help you shift out of. And just to go back to kind of what you say there in terms of if your business only works when you do, you've not built a business, you've built yourself a career that you can never take a day off from. And today we want to flip that and show you the things as to how you can make sure that you've built a business that works even when you don't.
And later on in this episode too, we will be telling you about something very exciting that we are launching at Wedcon, the UK's #1 wedding industry growth event. It's happening on November the 26th in Shrewsbury, and trust me, you do not want to miss this one. I'm so excited.
I know there's just a few tickets left now, just a handful of tickets left. And at the checkout, there are buy now, pay later and some split pay options if you do need them. So there is no excuse.
No. Wedcon is a full day to actually step away from the chaos, focus on your business, and get real-time support from people who get what it's like to run a wedding business. I will be there as well, which is,
I love that, by the way, because I've just had a WhatsApp from Terry Lewis.
Have you?
Bless him. I'm not actually gonna shit. Oh, I thought he was actually asking me for the day of Wedcon then, but he's not. He's asking me for when we need all of his bits. But yeah, Terry is going to be at Wedcon. We love Terry. He did a podcast not so long ago. It was so popular. So if you haven't been able to kind of take a listen of that yet,
go and find it.
What he's bringing to Wedcon. But yeah, we'll talk more about that later. But for now, let's just dig into why so many of us, and we have ourselves in our businesses, get so trapped in the cycle of doing everything ourselves. So firstly, let's talk about why some of the time your business feels like a hamster wheel. And what we see is most businesses don't fail because the owner isn't good at their job. They fail because the owner never gets past doing the job. And so many businesses do fail. It's something like 8 in 10 fail in the first 3 years of business, And one of the reasons for this is you are stuck kind of in the doing of your business, whether that's editing, designing, setting up, replying to emails, all the stuff you've got to do on socials, chasing invoices, managing bookings. Oh my word, is this already feeling a lot?
Giving me anxiety.
Doing your accounts. And you're trying to grow your business at the same time. And, I hear it. It's exhausting. And if you do it this way, it's not sustainable. Now, you started your business because you love what you do, but somehow it's turned not into a business that gives you freedom, but into a job that owns you, right? And I remember when I had my bridal shop, I thought growth meant, more stock, more appointments, a bigger shop, more staff, more of everything. But actually, all that did was make me busier and make me more of a slave to my business. And actually, ultimately, my profit didn't grow, but my workload did. And we want to help you break this today.
That is so true. And it is worth saying that it's so common. People think growth means more weddings, more inquiries, more followers, more doing stuff, but more isn't always better. Quite often, more just means overwhelm. And the key is to build a business that works for you, not one that drains the living day life out of you. You don't have to be the person doing every single thing. And what we're going to walk through today are the 5 big shifts that take you from working in the business to actually running it. Okay, so step 1 is you need to get clear on what you actually want. And I don't mean the generic, I want more bookings kind of goals. I mean what you really want your business to look and feel like. What was it that made you start your business? Do you want to earn more without taking on more work? Do you want to build a small team so you're not the one doing everything? Do you want weekends off to spend some time with your kids and your partner? You don't have to chase someone else's version of success. Success means different things to different people. What Katie sees as success might not be the same as what I see as success. But you do need to know what that looks like for you. And when we work with clients inside WedPro CEO, this is where we start, because if you don't know what the goal is, you'll just keep spinning all those plates and juggling all those balls, and they will start to drop.
Yeah, and I remember when I finally admitted that what I wanted wasn't more brides through the door necessarily, it was more balance and actually more profit, more take home pay at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I wanted a business that supported my life. I had 2 young children under sort of 6, 7, and not a business that absolutely consumed every waking minute of my life. And when you really get clear on that, this clarity changes everything. Once you kind of stop and look at what your version of success looks like to you,
Yeah.
decisions become much easier. And if you're somebody that gets stuck in the decision stage of your business and you and are over your decisions, this really helps. Like Katie at work is very decisive, and I can kind of make quick decisions, I can take calculated risks, and that's all because I know exactly where I want the business to go year on year. And when you know that as well, you can filter every idea, you can look at opportunities, and always through that lens, is this adding and taking me towards my version of success, or is it distracting me? And you can ask yourself this, does this bring me closer to that life, or does it pull me further away? And that's what being a CEO looks like, and really stepping away from building yourself the world's busiest and often most underpaid job and into actually building a business.
Yeah.
Okay, step 2, and one that everybody always goes, my God, you've said the scary word. And I know some people are going to hit skip and fast forward 30 seconds on this, but
Don't.
please don't, because we're going to be talking about money. And this really is you knowing your numbers. Now, I'm sure all of us can relate to times where we've buried our head in the sand, we've been a bit of an ostrich, and we've not really looked at the numbers. But if you don't know your monthly costs, your break-even point, or even your hourly rate, what you're earning each hour inside of your business, after everything else is factored in, you're guessing, and you're guessing when you're making decisions. And guessing actually is really stressful. I can't tell you how many wedding pros that we speak to who say they need more bookings when actually what they need is better pricing and a grip on their numbers and a grip on their figures, right?
Exactly. And this is the point where we see the most transformation. When you finally can understand your numbers, you stop working on those vanity metrics, you stop panicking every time inquiries dip because you know what's actually required to hit your goals. And I think that, and I wonder whether some web pros out there don't look at the numbers because it then scares them. But if you don't know what's happening, you don't know what you need to do next to improve things. And that's why in the and that's why in Katie's book, The Profit Shift, we've built things like the profit calculator and the capacity planner. It takes the guesswork out of it. You plug your numbers in and it tells you exactly what's working and what's not. Because once you see the truth in black and white, you can actually fix it. And I just want to add here as well, it's okay if numbers currently scare you. I've sat in this boat, and sometimes even now it feels a little bit uncomfortable to get real with the numbers. But the more you do it, the easier it becomes, and the easier it is to take the emotion out of it and look at it from that CEO point of view.
Yeah, I think knowing your numbers gives you clarity and power.
Yeah.
It's not about a million spreadsheets. And my word, let me tell you, on a weekly basis, I get frustrated with spreadsheets. And I actually am going to build something in the next couple of weeks. Watch this
What's so
space.
funny is Katie will ask me a question about something to do with like the money side of things, and I'll go, it's in that spreadsheet. And you'll be like,
I can't read the spreadsheet.
spreadsheet,
um, yeah, I'm going to overhaul that whole side of the business in the next few.
please.
But it really is about giving you some freedom and not just kind of getting to the end of the year and thinking, okay, how many weddings did I do?
Mm,
But really having clarity on where you're going so that we can build a plan to get you there. Okay, let's talk about something that really does save you time so that you're able to kind of take more of those rest days, but also take more of that time where you can focus on your business, because that is where the decisions and the moves are made that really take you closer to where you want to be, right? When you're working on your
yep,
business, not in your business.
yep. So step three, yeah, is building systems that are going to save you time. And this is something that is going to actually change your life. If your business relies on you for everything, it's never going to feel calm. Systems don't have to mean complicated tech at all. It's about having repeatable, reliable ways to do things so you don't spend all day firefighting. So a bit of advice here would be to start small if systems are new to you. So things like creating a few email templates, set up some automated responses for your FAQs, build a spreadsheet. In Google Docs, actually, there is an AI part where if you tell it what you want your spreadsheet to do, it will create you a spreadsheet, which I think that's really fascinating because I struggle to build the spreadsheet.
Yeah, for the maths, but actually what's clever is if it can talk to your bank and pull
Mm-hmm.
that stuff across.
Yeah,
But so I'm gonna look into this week, I'm telling you.
yeah. Or
It'll be
even might be,
one
sorry.
place, snapshot of the business. And that's
Yeah, just like a dashboard.
yeah.
Yes,
This is
please.
what a system does for you,
Or
actually.
it might even be like a CRM that tracks your clients from inquiry to delivery. It's not about replacing that human side. And I think this is a misconception. I was talking to somebody earlier about this because they're doing everything manual. Like it doesn't have to take that personality away and those personal touch points. It's about freeing you up to be more present, creative, and in control of your business.
Yeah, and actually, I can remember a time where everything we did, every reply we sent was very
Oh,
manual because I felt that it would somehow make the business feel cold or impersonal. But actually, it's the opposite. When you've got systems in place, and a system is just a thought out process for something, it doesn't need to mean complicated tech. It doesn't need to even mean more expenses for you going out every single month. But when you've got a system in place, you deliver better client experiences because nothing gets missed. You're not rushing replies in between, picking the kids up from school, or you're not missing things. You are consistent. And at Wedcon, this is something that we're going to help you with and we're going to dive a little bit deeper into. We're running hands-on business clinics throughout the day. We did this a couple of years ago, didn't we, at some of the Wedcons that we did. And we really love it. We really love to give you that time for us to look at things, but you can sit down with us and go and chat to all the other experts in the room as well. And we can help you to plan your workflows, plan your automations, plan your processes, because I understand that this part, the systems part and the money part, are the part where people tend
yeah.
to kind of freak a little bit. And I am going to say it as well. The other part that I see is the mindset around creating a job rather than creating a business is where we see most people trip up. But we're going to be right there in the room helping you with all of this. And the best part is we're going to be giving you tools and templates and a copy of that book that are going to be worth more than your ticket price.
And that's what I love about Wedcon. It's not just a day of inspiration, it's a day of implementation. You'll
Mhm.
walk out with clarity, structure, and systems so you can actually put them into practice the very next morning or even on the train home. It's what we do
Yes,
after these sorts of things.
we do.
We do. True
Very, we
story.
get very travel sick. Okay, so the next the next thing, and I'm just going to go back to that point that I said where people slip up quite
Mm,
often, is shifting your mindset from being a supplier to the CEO of your business. And here's the cold hard truth here. Until you start thinking like a CEO, you'll always be the doer. And this is the first chapter of my book. You'll always be the one putting out fires. You'll always be the one tied to your laptop. Instead of being able to build a plan that slowly allows you to remove yourself from the business, not permanently, but remove yourself from the business so that you can go and watch a nativity play, so that you can take a weekend off without the wheels falling off your business, for you to be able to take 2 weeks off without having to jump into social media or open your emails once. I mean, does that not sound like a dream? But being a CEO doesn't mean you need to be this impersonal,
yeah.
power suit person sat in a big tall tower. It doesn't mean you don't care about your couples at all. It actually means the opposite. It means you care enough that you're going to build something sustainable. The worst thing you can do for your couples is, for your future couples, is not be around in 12 months' time, right? You
Yeah.
need to be building something sustainable with foundations so that you can serve them better without burning yourself out. And the shift here is simple, but it's really powerful. And actually, you need to stop asking yourself, how do I do more? How can I do more? And start flipping this into, how can I make this easier?
And
And
that sounds amazing.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and that's exactly what the book is about, and exactly what we're helping the wedding pros do inside of our
Mm.
programs, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not about ego at all. It's about ownership. The florists, the photographers and the planners we've seen thrive are the ones who stop being afraid to delegate, to automate, and to set those boundaries. When you think like a CEO, you stop working harder and start working smarter, and that's like the shift. You stop saying I can't and you start saying how can I? And that's the shift that creates the growth without chaos. We want you all to have businesses that are thriving, that you love, without that burnout, because
I think that's
success
what
doesn't
people
equal burnout.
Yeah, and I think that's what people think, success means
Mm,
more bookings, more money, but actually it can mean less bookings, more money. It can mean same bookings, more time. It can mean
yeah.
same bookings, more profit. And that's the kind of growth that we want, not ones that like, okay, I've got 142 weddings booked in for next year. And I always get, when we sit in, we do teachings with people that come to our masterclasses, and
Yeah.
we go to events,
We see it all the time, don't they? Don't
and
we?
we teach at events, and we ask people to kind of work out a couple of numbers in their business so that they can really get an idea as to where they're at today. And one of the things we ask them to do is think about how many weddings they want to work in a year. And it always puts up all the red flags in my head when somebody says, oh, I want to do 82 weddings
Yeah,
next
you're
year.
like, whoa.
And I'm like, oh my God, have you got a team of wedding ninjas that we don't know about? Because do you have like systems galore and people that are going to do your copy for you and people that are going to go and set up and take down those weddings and do the offboarding? And quite often they don't. And actually, growth doesn't mean more of everything. Growth should mean more time, more profit, I think. And that's exactly what the profit shift
Mm.
it teaches you to do. And you're going to get a copy of that for free at Wedcon. And I really purposely, I didn't want this to be a fluffy book. And I know the wedding industry is very lovely and very pretty. I very, very strategically and planned it out to be no fluff, just punchy action. And it's all the stuff we've been teaching, the systems.
No one's got the time for the fluff. That's not who we are, is it? If we
I do
actually think
read
about it.
quite a lot of books that are like, in
Like you get like a massive intro, tiny amount of do, and then like a
yeah,
little
because and then what they want you to do is pay extra to get
Yeah.
to
Hmm.
get the how. This book isn't like that at all. I very, very, I can't think of the word, bloody perimenopause, but I thought out and thought, right, I want this to be standalone on its own for people that could come back to this book time and time again and get to the point in their business that they want to. And yes, we're here if you want to get there quicker or you want to get there with support, but you don't have to. And you're
Mm.
going to get a copy of that at Wedcon. You're going to be one of the first people to get a copy of that, and you're going to get it for
I
nothing.
can't wait, like, to get our hands on like the first ever copies.
I'm
Like,
so excited. I'm down
how
to
far
like
out are we from this?
not far. I'm on to the last chapter edit. I think that'll land today. And then because we've got publishers, which makes us sound like ooh la di da. But actually we just wanted to do it properly.
Yeah.
So we've got publishers, haven't we?
I think it's important because it does the book justice as well. Like, you've put a lot into this, you have. So,
Yeah, I wanted all the stuff in my head to translate on paper to people that may never have spoken to me before or may never have listened to our podcast or come to a masterclass that I'd ever done. And I thought, me and you reading that, or even if I gave it to a few of our clients to read or a
mm,
few of the people that we collab with, they're going to have a level of understanding of it because they know me.
yeah.
So I wanted fresh eyes, harsh,
I was the best
harsh,
idea.
harsh eyes over it so that it was translating and it was coming across.
I'm going to do as a podcast that's like, meet the author, Katie Lift.
How are you?
I'm going
Okay,
to quiz,
great.
I'm going to question you. I'm going to,
Oh, okay, that'll be cool. It'll be like
I just thought,
this is your life, or like a
inside the
horror
mind of
fiction.
Katie Lith.
Oh God, inside the mind of a cat. Okay,
Let's go to step 5. Okay, so you mentioned about doing it without support, with support, but I think our step 5 is kind of last. This is last on this, but it's not least by any means, and that is actually getting support.
I think if we just go back to our kind of experience in this, we were growing. I mean, business one with the bridal shop, bar some quite low level mentoring. We grew that and scaled that on our own, the slow way. The slow way, the painful way. And that is what you're going to say, isn't it? Like doing it alone is slow and quite and
How
quite
did you
painful.
know? But it is though. Like, you need community. I've spoken to, gosh, like
Thousands,
week
hundreds.
on week, I speak to a lot of wed pros and I ask them all the same question. Have you got other wed pros around you who support you, who network with, who are along this journey? And I'm going to say 9 out of 10 say no. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, still in this day and age?
Well, that's initially why we set up
Yeah.
the Business Hub, because we were like, people need community, not just for that community feel, but for the accountability, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Like, you need people who actually like really, really get it. And that is why we built WebPro CEO, and it's why we run Wedcon, and it's why we started doing this business in the first place. It's about creating a space where wedding professionals can stop pretending they've got it all together and can actually get the help that they need.
Yeah, like Redcon isn't just a sit and listen kind of event. It's practical, it's interactive, and it's filled with the best experts
Uh-huh.
who can help you troubleshoot right there on the day. I said that first business we kind of scaled quite slowly. Yes, we did get to 6 figures in that business, but my God, I made some very expensive mistakes on the way. Did a lot of it on my own, did a lot of like making more work for myself rather than less work for myself, making decisions really without the data, very knee-jerk reaction decisions, which isn't the way to build a sustainable business. And in this business, and everybody can, right? I say this to a lot of businesses when I sit down and do their game plan. So people that come into our program, they get a game plan, which week by week will break down what the CEO tasks are inside the business. Because a lot of people can understand that they're busy. And yes, we're all busy, but you can be a busy fool and you can be busy doing the things that actually don't move the needle on your business. So one of the things that we do is everybody that comes into our program, we give them kind of step by step, week on week, this is what you need to do this week. next week, this is what you need to do. And it's all the stuff that is on the business because people say to us, I really feel like people struggle with the differentiation between what is working in the business and what is working on the
Yeah.
business. So that will give you that. When we kind of built this business and started to think about where we wanted to head to, and this is what I mean, everybody can do this. Everybody can run the first couple of years on determination and
Yeah.
steam and
And love and pure like
yeah, pure
passion.
passion for the business because it's your baby. It's like, oh my God, I'm dead excited
New,
about
and it's
this.
like, yes, I'm gonna like put my all into this, but
You're
that
new,
does
you're new, so
exactly.
people have a bit of buzz around you, people are interested because you're new. And then the dust kind of settles,
Mm.
and also, we can't run at 100 miles an hour
Almost like the honeymoon period when you first like meet somebody. It's like,
yeah, and then the 7-year itch comes in, or
yeah.
that kind of period where honeymoon period's over now, and some of the things that you were doing may not work as well anymore.
Mm.
And that actually is why you need strategy. And a lot of the time, what I see is people working with mentors, and I don't think there's anything wrong with working with mentors, but the difference between a mentor and a coach and a mentor and a strategist is a mentor will show you what they have done. And that's great for when things are working. And I think when things are working in your own business, you think, okay, this is great. This feels good. This feels easy. But actually, it's about knowing that when actually those things that you've tried aren't quite landing anymore, or there's been a change in the industry, or, the stuff that you're doing just isn't resonating in the way that it was anymore, or you're struggling to grow your audience, or you're struggling to get the yeses when it was quite easy to get the yeses before. And that's where you need strategy. And we have been in exactly the same position. We managed to build this business up to about £3,000 months, £4,000 months, and we couldn't
Just
get over that hurdle, could we? We would
no.
like keep pushing, but we couldn't quite break this sort of 3,500, 4,000 month. And we wanted to, because where we wanted to take the business, we wanted to put on events for people, we wanted to do a coaching program, and whatever we were doing, we just couldn't seem to get it to land. And it was at that point that we invested and we got support.
Mm.
And we invested at the time, which was a massive commitment for us. And also something that we thought, okay, can we afford this? Maybe we've got to make a few little sacrifices to make this investment work. But I can honestly say that every investment we've ever invested, and we're at a point now, sort of how many years on from that decision? 4 years on from that decision,
Or probably,
maybe
yeah.
4.5 years on from that decision, that we have now invested tens of thousands of pounds in coaching in our business.
Mhm.
And that is because two things happen. First thing happens is we've got some skin in the game. And I don't know about you, Roxy, but I know that when I put my money where my mouth is, I'm going to flip and work hard.
Absolutely.
And
And
I'm
I
going
just want to
to,
make a point there. You said we've invested tens of thousands of pounds, and people at home might be thinking, oh my gosh, that's so much money. But it's not money wasted at all, is
no,
it? It's like money that's enabled us to get to the point that we are today, and we could not have done it without that
no.
investment.
And
Sure.
that's it. I think you don't know everything.
No.
And I want to follow people that have done where we want to go. This business, we're very much kind of business to business. So I wanted to learn from other businesses that had sold business to business. And yes, some of the things that we were doing from B2C, so business to customer, business to consumer, like in the bridal shop, were transferable, but not everything was. And we kind of hit this limit, hit this ceiling kind of on steam and on like passion and grit and working all the crazy hours because we're excited about the business. But then the wheels sort of start to jiggle and
They do,
fall off
yeah.
slightly, don't they? So yeah, we invested by this point, and it does always pay off for us because when I'm not just, downloading the freebies and thinking, oh well, they can sit there, they were free anyway,
And
if I,
trying to mold the free stuff that you find
yeah,
to your business.
but also even doing it,
Yeah.
even doing the stuff. Whereas actually it was like, okay, I've invested a few thousand. The first coach we invested in was a few £1,000. Every Wednesday at 12 o'clock, I'm flipping showing up on those calls and I'm going to ask the questions that I
And we were the ones, we're always the ones that ask all the questions,
yeah,
aren't we?
because
Like
I was like,
We always
I
think
am,
like, are we a little bit too involved?
but I want to get my
Yeah,
money's worth and I want to like soak it all up, go and action it and see results the other side. And the second thing that we can say is every investment has paid off. And I think it's because we switch that mindset between it's like having skin in the game compared to not having skin in the game. And it
mm,
almost makes you think, okay, I
I'm
need to,
gonna make damn sure that this
yeah, that this works and I
works.
make my money back on that. So yeah, I think really about kind of getting that support is really, important. Maybe you're somebody that at that point you're gonna go and figure it out for yourself, and that's fine. You can figure it out for yourself. What did you say? That it's quite often slow and it's quite often painful, and it is.
Uh-huh.
God,
Yeah.
even in this business, we've made some flipping mistakes and gone, okay, like that was an expensive lesson to learn.
Rules.
But what we have now and what we emulate in our coaching programs is having that base of people that we can go and speak to. So we can go and ask questions to and say, okay, what did you do when that email that you sent didn't land? Or we've had a client that's come back and asked this question. How do we reassure them that they're going to get the results that we've promised? Or, oh, we've got this little niggle going on, or we're thinking about doing this. Has anyone else done this? And being able to follow that path and also to have that community around us. And that's the other thing. Community, accountability, making sure because you've paid and because you've invested, whether in time or in money, that you're actually going to do the work. And the accountability of other people in the program kind of spurring you on and sharing what they're doing. But also the people that you get to network with. One of
Mm.
them this morning dropped into our Instagram and was like, "Oh, Katie, Roxy, I'd love to do something with your people." And I'm like, "Yeah, cool. Yeah, well, or even guests for the podcast or things that spark ideas." And one of the reasons I flipping love these spaces is because, and I'm going to say it and I'm going to sound really mean, but not always are your friends and your family on the same wavelength.
Said it this morning to the lady that I was speaking to. I was like, I love my husband, but he's employed. He doesn't get it.
Yeah, and even having that kind of mindset where they want more.
Mm.
And I think there's something about, I don't know if it's about being British or whether it's just about the way that we're sort of brought up. We're almost scared to say, oh, hang on, I want more, or I want the nice,
Yeah.
or I want, when I'm 40, I want to throw a massive birthday party and I want to pay for it all and I want it to be beautiful, or I'm going to go and my auntie actually is one of the only, there's a couple of people in my family that are self-employed, and the self-employed ones of us is there's three, me, my brother, my auntie, very much have this growth mindset. Now she was flying home, it was her 50th birthday, she was flying home and they've gone business class from Mauritius. And she was like, oh, look, but she'll share it with me, but she won't share it with her sisters and she won't share it with anyone else because she gets judged about how much money she's spending.
Yeah,
And that,
I don't have anyone in my family. I am the only one, and I keep myself to myself because I don't want to come across like I'm like
no, but
boasty or being
no,
judged.
even when I've gone out for meals with my friends and I said, oh, no, no, I'll get the bill, or when my partner was 40, I paid for the bill for everybody. It can make other people like, oh, like, whereas actually I just want to. And that's part of having your own business and
That's
surrounding
part of
yourself
the
by
success,
people.
right? That's like that you're
Yeah,
able to
that's
do
my
that.
version of it. Like I want to
Yeah.
be able to spend my money on the people that I love, doing things that I love. And I can't wait until the day that I get on a plane. That's a different story. But get on a plane and be able to fly business. And the people in these communities, when you invest, have that same mindset. They're also looking to get to that next step. And I think as well, not only are those people, like the people in one of the communities that we're in right now, they're earning multiple hundreds of thousands a year. Some of them are earning millions a year. And that's not necessarily where we want to be, but where we want to be is in those spaces so that I can soak up. Oh my
That's
God,
it.
how did you do that? And it actually raises
It does.
frequency.
I
And it,
think that when we first joined that particular one, I felt like a very little fish in a very big pond.
But then we went in and we were
Yeah,
us.
that's it. But
And they
now,
were like,
like
bye, Katie Roxy. And we
that
were
was
like,
exactly the right space that we
yeah.
needed because we'd got to a level that we're like, okay, like
we
now
were we were the level we'd got in the previous business coaching where we were kind of sitting at the point where we were like,
we're now at like we've
we're near the
climbed that
top,
ladder.
we're at the top of here now, and we need to push ourselves. And yeah, all the imposter syndrome sinks
Yep,
back in. Do we
yep.
deserve to be in this room? Who the hell are we to think that we can kind of network and mingle with millionaires and multi
Little old me.
in my Primark
They're
shoes?
going to Colorado, aren't they?
Yeah, the Orlando.
Orlando, yeah, sorry, Orlando.
I don't know where Colorado is,
Well,
but yeah, they're
that's
in Orlando next week, and we'll be there in a few years. I mean, we could have gone this year, but I think
yeah,
it's
it's more childcare this year.
kids, and I'd love to be able to though be like, right, kids, we're going to Orlando for a week. We're going to go and do a business conference for 2 days. They can go and like have fun in the parks, and we'll get there, won't we?
We will, we
But I
will.
think really, in terms of it doesn't need to be investing in coaching, but you can invest in rooms like Wedcon and accessing sessions on pricing, sales, systems, marketing, forward planning, sitting with me and Roxy and looking at, okay, anything that's going on in your business, getting expert eyes.
Mm.
This day really is designed to help you build that business that does not rely on you for everything. And we know that cash flow in this industry can be very up and down. There are buy now, pay later options and split pay options for you to grab your ticket. And if you are serious about making your business sustainable and getting yourself to that next level, it is a business growth event.
Mhm.
And I absolutely implore you, like it's 280 quid, it's tax deductible. Invest in being in that room.
And it is worth saying as well that WedCon it's everything our business encompasses in a room in that day. Like we handpick the speakers, the strategies, everything that is on that day is what you need to absolutely make your business like what you want it to be.
Okay, let's talk about the profit shift. And this is something that we've talked about on the last few episodes, but it's something that I've been working on since very, very early at the start of the year in January. It's been 8 months of writing, another sort of 6 weeks of editing, and we're finally so close to being able to share it. The profit shift is your roadmap that makes money, has structure, and gives you your life back. You're going to learn to earn more, work less, and finally love running your wedding business. And it's everything I wish I had when I started. And we're giving away the first copies for free to everybody in the room at WedCon.
That is so special. And inside, you'll find everything we've talked about today and so much more as well. So you get the profit calculator to finally understand your real numbers. You get the capacity planner, which is going to help you build packages that actually get you paid properly. Like we are here for that. Also, you get the 5 step sales call script. This is going to help you convert your inquiries super confidently. You get the client flow template to save, and this is going to save you so many hours each week. No more slogging on that laptop. And also the 90-day profit shift planner. So with this planner, you get everything that you need to lock it in and make it stick. This isn't theory, it is the how. And if you've ever thought, I know we need this sort of stuff, but I don't know where to start, which is something I hear all the time, this is where you start.
Yeah, and I will say it's not just a book. I didn't want it to just
Mm.
be full of theory and full of like why you need to know this, or I didn't want you to get to the end of the book and think, okay, I don't have things to do. In every single chapter, I give you things to do, and we build and we build and we build and we build. It's a toolkit, it's practical, it definitely is actionable. I didn't want you to get to the end of the book and then feel like you needed more. I wanted you to be able to come back to this book time and time again, which is why it's taken me 8 months of blood, sweat, and tears. But it is designed for wedding businesses who want more freedom and more profit. And what we want you to do is stop surviving and stop thinking about, okay, how am I going to get to the end of the month and how am I going to pay the bills? But actually start running a business that actually supports you. And that's what's really special. And that's really where we want you to be.
It is. So if you've been listening and nodding along today thinking, this is me, this is your sign. Things don't change by accident. They change when you do something differently.
I love that. Like, no, they don't change.
They don't.
Like, if
Nothing changes if nothing changes. I say
nothing
this all the
changes,
time.
nothing changes, you don't have to start with the big things. You can start small. And one of the books that you love is Atomic Habits, isn't it? And that's all about
Uh-huh.
starting very
Yeah.
small things. Start small. Maybe you're going to look at your numbers. Maybe you're going to write down what you actually want your business to look like. And then please come and spend a day with us at Wedcon this November in Shrewsbury. It is the UK's #1 wedding growth event for a reason, and it's where people come back time and time again. But ultimately, it's where people go in order to access that growth.
Mm-hmm.
You will learn on the day, you'll plan on the day, but most importantly, you will get support. You will be able to come and speak to us. We're not hidden away. We're there all day. We're bringing back those business clinics this year. You're going to leave with the profit shift before anybody else even sees it. And we've got so many tools as well that are worth way more than the ticket price.
Yeah, and there are only a few tickets left now, and we've made it super accessible with our buy now, pay later and split pay options too. So if you have been sitting on the fence, this is your little nudge off it.
Get off that fence.
Get off
You
it.
don't, you do not have to have a business that runs you and runs you into the ground. And you can have one that gives you freedom, to pay for things without worrying. And God, I've been through this. I've walked around all day like counting the pennies in my purse. Like, can I afford this bill at the end? Can I afford putting some things back? Freedom to be able to treat your children, to pay for a holiday if that's what you want, to, pay the mortgage without having to worry. Maybe it's freedom to take time off from your business and actually have mental time off from your business as well. And really, that's about consistency and profit. And we're going to break down exactly how to do that in the room at Wedcon.
We are. Okay, that's it for today's episode. We'll hopefully see you in that room on November the 26th.
Can't wait. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Wed Pro podcast. Full transcribes of this episode, plus every other episode we have done, are available at www.theweddingbusinesshub.com/blogs. Thanks so much for listening. If you do have any questions about this episode or anything else at all, you can email us at info@theweddingbusinesshub.com. And if you are loving our episodes, which I know you are, make sure you hit the subscribe or follow button so you can stay updated with any new episodes that land. We look forward to seeing you on the next episode.